Hey, yo, fam. I'm 37 years old and I created this channel for you. Let me tell you how one of the greatest mistakes of your life, in this season of your life, is to think that where you are is who you are. The truth, fam, is I now live a dream life. Building generational wealth through investing, living in the house of my dreams, with a newborn son, married to the love of my life, 15-year plus career, 11 years in fitness, and such a sense of purpose in life, as imperfect as I am as a human being, sitting here in the parking lot as human as ever, just like you, somebody with a dream, far away from where I used to be, unemployed, over a year, and for over 10 years, looking for an opportunity to break through with a job that felt like a dead end. I was also cheated on. I was also alone, 10,000 miles away from where I originally come from, in Madagascar. I am now in America without any family. Family has broken down over the years. My parents separated. My brother and sister following their own paths. And I ghosted 99.99% of people that I met along the way. Some of them parting ways naturally, and some of them I had to cut off. And the truth is, I learned so much through the millions and billions of mistakes. I learned so much in those moments where I felt like I had nothing, like I was nobody, like I was done. I think in our life, the greatest mistake that we make is that we focus so much on the future that we never actually see how beautiful the present is. Beautiful in how much we can learn about ourselves from the very things that we complain about every day. That's when, as I was hitting my head against the wall time and time again, that I realized that where I was wasn't who I was. Yes, I had experiences. I went to school, I was in sports, I was in music. But I never actually took the time to get to know myself. We focus so much on skills. We focus so much on what we can buy. We focus so much on how we can present ourselves and market ourselves. We focus so much on how we can get somebody to love us, to stay faithful to us, to give us something. But we never actually take the time to step into our greatness, because we never actually allow ourselves to truly see ourselves, invest in ourselves. We act like it, saying we're spending money on school, saying we're spending money on our health, on our spiritual endeavors, on our mental health. But when it's time to actually be with ourselves, like in a moment alone on the couch or in our car, or in a moment in front of the computer, in front of our phone, in front of the machine at the gym, in front of the weights, in front of the cardio, in front of the books, in front of the nature, the sun, the beach. We rather focus on what is not than what is. I don't think you realize how much beauty there is in a person, how much power, confidence, competitive advantage there is in a person who doesn't seek to be anywhere else. Somebody who truly takes this moment where they are, as this is the moment. From even the people around you, knowing how much you have this connection with yourself, this presence about yourself that doesn't seek, that doesn't chase, that doesn't beg, that doesn't need. An abundance of energy. In itself rooted in not trying to act perfect. And quite the opposite. To embrace how imperfect you are. How lost you are, how confused you are, how much failures you've had. Where you are isn't who you are. Because who you are is in every single moment of your life. Something that evolves, something that transcends what you see and what you have and what you've learned. And it is learning in the moment. Because at the end of the day, life in itself, the greatest blessing of all, is to be part of the game. To be part of the movie. Not to watch it, not to read about it, but to actually be the one. But we would rather watch everybody else's lives. We would rather watch our past. We would rather dream about a future, which are all beautiful things if we allow them to, but in themselves can never replace allowing the moment to be the only life that you have. The truth is, fam, when I started uncovering this, and at the time I didn't articulate it in this way, I uncovered such a sense of passion about my life. It's funny how when I had nothing, I didn't even have a car, I had to sell everything that I had. Nobody in my life. I probably had the best season of my life. That's when I found purpose into reading as somebody who never read before. Something that pushed me into truly investing, truly seeing the power of my imposter syndrome, of my failures, into pushing me into dedication and discipline, which is how I fell in love with the gym. I reconnected with myself physically, emotionally, financially, intellectually. At a time of my life where on the outside I had nothing on my resume, nothing in my bank balance, I felt rich. And in that moment, away from the noise, away from my parents, away from everything that I thought I needed, I felt like I had everything because I was right there, locked in into this moment. I still remember walking in a snowstorm because all I had was that day. And I needed to feel alive. I needed to feel like I was on it. Those are the moments I connected with the sense of self that isn't about impressing anybody. But I realized that it was about impressing myself. Because at the end of the day, fam, we live in a society where Nobody else will ever truly be you. I used to try to defend my way of thinking. I used to tell people my vision, and I would see their reaction and feel almost like it wasn't good enough because they didn't echo the level of energy that I wanted them to, internally, secretly. And as I was frustrated about it for a while, that's actually where I stumbled into realizing that why can't, what would I expect anybody else but me to truly understand why I do this, why I live this, why I love this? And to be honest, that's when I started unlearning a lot of the lies that I accepted. Accepting that I had this sense of identity, that I must follow a certain path, apply to a certain job to find wealth. And I started seeing everything in my life as, why can't that be me? Because I'd stopped fighting with the arrogance of acting like I knew who I was. For me, now became about living. It became about curiosity, became about following my overthinking, not from a place of judgment, but what if within that overthinking is wisdom, is lessons, is my competitive advantage, is my peace, is my power? If I'm here right now making videos, not having to write anything down but speaking, it is because of all that. It is because of all the failures, the insecurities, the regrets, the self-sabotage, the misunderstandings, the imperfections. The love that I have in my heart is not made from thinking that I am perfect. It is from seeing how imperfect I am and being grateful for still being here where I am, knowing that I could have been anywhere in the world. I could have been gone, but here I am today with a newborn son, with life, with an opportunity, a privilege to face the pressure, to succeed, to learn. I get to be a part of the game of my life. That in itself might just be the greatest victory of my life. A sense of self, a sense of being, a sense of presence, built upon one thing more than anything else, which is seeing myself right now. At the age of 37 years old, by seeing myself, I am actually learning to be my younger self again. The passionate, the innocent, the open-minded, but also the energetic, the aggressive, the loving self. The one that used to go to his friend's house on Saturday afternoons and bare feet play soccer games. I call it football games for hours and hours on end. Then we'll go back in and listen to some music and then go get some sandwiches with the street vendors. At that time, it wasn't about money. It was just about the love of the game and the love of just the moment. Sometimes with age, we think we know, because we are building this awareness of where we are, of what we think our story is. But in actuality, that is the greatest jail. And what if the greatest blessing in life is to say you lived it? Because life is not a problem to be solved. It is an experience to be lived, as Soren Kierkegaard said. We're gonna learn every day. I'm gonna fail every day. Whether it's in the gym, whether it's in every area of our lives. And that in itself is powerful. To be excited, to go at it, to fail, to get up, to learn, to try, to be, to do, to have, to uncover, to discover, to recover. As always, fam, wherever you are, wherever you come from, you are destined for greatness. Get busy living, not busy dying.